All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And today's video is going to be completely different than any other video on this channel because literally it is about a game. It's about another game besides The Elder Scrolls Online. I have been doing ESO YouTube content for 6 years now, and the last 6 years, I have covered The Elder Scrolls Online. I've posted build videos, talked about the game, PvP content, all these sorts of things, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. Lots of games have come out in the last 6 years, and I haven't done any content on any other ones because I'm not one of those people that gets super excited about every single game that comes out. It really takes something to catch my attention. And so that's why I wanted to do a brief video talking about Ashes of Creation. So Ashes of Creation I've been following it for the last 2 to 2.5 years. And so I follow it. I pay attention to the updates and everything. And the more and more I see, I get really excited. And so this video, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about Ashes of Creation. I know a lot of people do not know. Not everyone knows about Ashes of Creation yet. I know a lot of you guys do, but I figured I'd explain my point of view on this. And if you don't know much, maybe this will change your opinion. But then you'll know, why I will be covering more content on this game in the future, because I think it has a very bright future. And so, yeah, that's what this video is. Let's dive into it. So I got hooked watching some Ashes of Creation stuff off an Asmongold interview 2+ years ago. I was watching, different things, and I was watching gameplay or footage, and I was like, wow, this game looks great. And then I watched an interview where Asmongold interviews the creative director, and they go through, his origin story of why he wanted to create Ashes of Creation, and all that, and a lot of what he said spoke to me from a PvPer's perspective. So he wanted to create Ashes of Creation due to other MMOs. He basically said that other MMOs were making design choices that he wasn't happy about, and either poor choices with pay-to-win aspects or more profit driven, and he wanted to do stuff. So he wanted to make something more for the players. And so I don't know how that's going to turn out. We'll see. That is a good thing to say. But yeah, then he goes in further, and the thing that really caught my attention was he's talking about the PvP aspect of MMOs, and they got into a little discussion, and basically I'll just play his point of view for it here.
80% of the content that will exist in Ashes of Creation is open world, and there's a specific reason for that. So because of the way that friendships and or enemies are forged in the game, and people have the opportunity to create their own friends or foes, we want that to play out from a contesting standpoint as well. So a lot of these hunting grounds or raid bosses that people are going to have opportunities to kill, they're going to be essentially contested potentially by your enemies that you've created in the game, or you can work together to create alliances in order to defend those contested zones.
Oh yeah, we have that now in Classic WoW. It's very drama driven, but it's also very social. It is extremely social, and that's a big positive.
Absolutely. I mean, the social component of what MMORPGs as a genre are supposed to be have kind of been lost over the years, in my opinion, over the past decade, as many of the designs are more related to essentially creating these safe spaces for players, which don't create a lot of soft friction. And I don't like the idea of that. I think soft friction is an important component of making people emotionally invested in the outcome of events in games. That's an important part of why we play games. And some of the best experiences that I've had as an MMORPG gamer have been not related around the curated content by the designers, but instead by the unpredictable player-driven encounters that nobody could have predicted. Like I remember in ArcAge, I had a great time. My guild was fighting almost the entire server, and we had literally, and I'm not exaggerating here, we had a 24 straight hour fight where I went to bed in the middle of the fight for like 3 hours, and I got back up and got back into the command chair. And it was all over the Kraken raid boss that the server was trying to prevent us from doing. And that, I mean, those types of events live with you. I mean, yes, they're they're gated around the content, but they're player-driven events.
So yeah, these thoughts here really caught my attention, is just not having safe spaces for PvP. You know, having soft friction in a PvP environment is really appealing to me personally, because it makes the game more interesting. It doesn't mean, you know, it had, like, from a PvP player's perspective, it's fun having these contested points. It's fun having stuff to, you know, talk about and debate over, and, you know, and it makes MMOs more conducive to group environments. Whether you're for one side or another, it really brings, you know, an aspect of the world to it. And so you'll experience that in other MMOs, you know, where an MMO is supposed to be more of like a community thing, and you see a lot of people doing solo whatever, and there's not as much community-driven aspects to it. And I feel like in-game drama is a really good way to just drum up interest in a game. You know, I've played games in the past where the main appeal to it was the environment itself. It was the players. You know, the game was always like the main aspect, but almost as a secondary. It was the player-driven drama that appealed almost as much, because, like, you know, destroying somebody's castle or beating a foe was one thing, but beating a foe that, you know, you've had longer term disagreements with is more satisfying. And so that sort of soft friction that he talks about there was just really appealing from my point of view as a PvPer to see. And overall, his thoughts on PvP are very stark. Like, they contrast what other MMOs talk about. He talks about, you know, safe spaces, and you see it a lot where people, you know, I've had it happen a lot on my channel where people talk about MMOs and like, oh, PvP doesn't work. It doesn't work in these environments. And I think a lot of that is the games are catering more to PvP players. And so because they're catering to these PvP players, it quote unquote doesn't work in this environment, because they're not actually trying towards making a good PvP game. And so I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know how good Ashes of Creation is or anything, but it's nice seeing a developer and a game developing company have a vision for what they want to see. Their progression system for PvE looks fantastic. Like having levels of difficulty based on how skilled your group is looks fantastic. PvP environments, having solo 3v3, 5v5 dueling arenas, having caravan PvP, open world PvP, having town raids, like all these sources of PvP just sounds awesome. And so that's a big appeal. That's a big appeal to me, is all these different areas potentially for very skilled PvP, large scale group events. Like these town battles are supposed to be 250 versus 250. The last I heard, they're going to try and get 500 versus 500. Like that is just such a large scale PvP environment. And then if you don't like it, you can do small scale, whatever. Like, it's just a huge world, and it's a big undertaking. It's a big undertaking. It's the type of game you want to see succeed, in my opinion. You know, it's not a big studio. It's not a big company. It's not one of these companies that just literally makes a game, comes out with a bunch of different store items for you to purchase, and basically just drives up sales and profits by, you know, decorations. It seems like he is serious on making a good game, making a game that, you know, people want to play. And I know there's a lot of hope in this, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, my final selling point was they just posted a video. This is gonna sound, for a lot of people that don't watch my channel, that are not Elder Scrolls Online fans, you won't know this point of view. But they just did a video like a month ago going through what the bow looks like, the bow animations. And so they have, you know, bow as one of the weapons in PvP and everything, and they're showing what the different skills are and everything, and talking about the sound and like what they want the environment to feel like, how they want the playstyle to work. and it's very in depth. It looks really nice, and there's a point in the beginning where they're like, yeah, you know, look, we made this hood, and they have a hood for their archer, and they have the like slots in the ears for the hood because they have elves, and so they wanted the slots so that their ears could poke out of the hood, and it was just like a small change. Those little things are important to me, in my opinion. Those little things, those little details, talking about, you know, how the bow functions and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like a big deal, and at the end of the day, like, it won't drive like how successful the game is, but that intention and detail shows a lot to me. And so, coming from a guy that's played a game where I ran on my, you know, every time I hopped on my horse, my weapon would ride underneath me for 2 years. It is a nice change of pace to see attention to detail on that sort of scale. And so, I'm not saying this to say that I'm moving on to other games or anything. I'm trying to explain to you guys why I'm really excited about this game, and why I'm excited for the Alpha 2 to come out, and the betas, and eventually the game release to come out, and why I want to do more content about this game, because it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun. And yeah, that's the point of view. Play video games to have fun, and that's what I want to do, is I want to have fun with video games, and this is definitely one that has caught mine and a lot of people's attention. So that's gonna be the end of this video. It's a little bit more informal and everything. We'll have more formal and instructive videos in the future, but yeah, it looks fantastic on Unreal Engine 5. PvP sounds like their grand idea sounds really nice as well. And so yeah, that's a more informal video here of me talking to you guys about what I'm excited about this game, and obviously I want to hear yours. I want to hear your points of view. Want to hear if this is the first time you're hearing about it, or if you've been on the Ashen's hype bandwagon for as long or longer than I have. Just let me know. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.